MetalWorks. We're still continuing to work our asses off out here in the heat for the sounds of the Underground Tour. But yes, it brings me great pleasure to welcome one of our favorite bands, yes, from Florida, the Death Metal Kings. I have with me Alex Webster of the band Cannibal Corpse. How you doing, Alex?
Very good. Thanks for having me here today.
It's good to have you back on the program, man. It's been a little bit, but I think now's a great time, better than ever.
Yeah, I mean, things have been doing pretty well for us and for the death metal scene in general. You know, it's cool seeing the way things have gone the past couple of years. You know, the channels like MTV2 and stuff like that actually playing some death metal once in a while, and tours like this actually getting bands like us and Behemoth on them. You know, Shadows Fall is going to have Suffocation tour with them, so people are opening up to let death metal bands, you know, get on the big stage too.
About freaking time, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we got 10 albums out. We're ready to play stages like this.
Sold over 1 million records worldwide.
Yeah, you know, I mean, not that we mind doing club tours, and honestly, if you ask anybody in the band, that's actually where we're most comfortable, and that's probably where we'll stay after this tour. This tour is something a little different for us to do, and we're trying it out. We're having a good time playing with all these different types of bands, but where we're really at our most comfortable, and, you know, probably the other bands on the tour feel that way too, is in small clubs, you know, just bashing it out in front of like 500 people packed into some little club going sick. You know, that's what we like the most.
But also a great opportunity for a lot of the young kids out there to know about Cannibal Corpse and obviously building new fans.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of really young metal fans at these shows, like guys who are like 12 and stuff like that, that you got to figure we already had like 4 albums out when some of these guys were born. You know, it's weird. So, they're probably seeing us for the first time. There's been a lot of first-timers, you know, like people that come up to us after a show and say, wow, that was really cool. It's the first time I saw you. And that's what we were trying to accomplish with this tour, is to introduce ourselves to people who listen to extreme music but might not know much about the death metal scene.
Let's jump into this interview now. I don't want to keep you all day here, but you guys just had your new record, Kill, drop not too long ago. But it seemed like before Kill that there was like, it took a little while for this record to come out. Tell us a little bit about maybe what the band was doing or where you were at and why there was like that little transition period that was pretty evident.
Yeah, you know, it really didn't seem like that big of a deal for us. I mean, because we did a lot of touring for the Wretched Spawn. That's probably, I mean, we pretty much don't write until we're done with the tour. So the Wretched Spawn tour was like 141 shows over the course of a year, and that's quite a few for us. Actually, it was less than a year. It was probably 141 shows over the course of like 250 days, something like that. By the time we were done with that, we were ready to start writing again. Of course, during that time, you know, Jack Owen, our old guitar player, left the band. We had Jeremy Turner finish off the tours with us, Jeremy from Unmerciful, ex-Origin. And he did a great job. When we got home, Rob called us up and asked if, you know, Jeremy was getting the spot permanently or what was going on. And we thought Rob was, you know, all set with Malevolent Creation, so we didn't bother to even ask him. But he asked us about it. We mulled it over and decided Rob would be the man for the job, even though Jeremy was also awesome. And then we just got right to work.
I've been definitely listening and supporting Kill, and it seems that in the media that this release is getting a lot of press and acclaim because of, you know, they're saying, you know, this is a little different than the straight-ahead Cannibal that, you know, we've seen in the past. This album is presenting a side where there's a little bit more, you know, jamming and stuff, and kind of like little bit of groove in that speed. But it seems like it's a little different than maybe what you guys have previously delivered, and I think people are really liking it.
Cool. You know, we've been pretty happy with the response. I mean, you know, there's the odd review where they think it's, you know, a piece of crap or whatever, and that's normal. But like most people thought it was pretty good. For us, we didn't go into it trying to do anything particularly different, but every album we're trying to write different songs than what we've written before. I think part of it is just maybe, you know, with Jack not being there, with Rob being in, there's a little bit of a different dynamic as far as the songwriting goes. For me personally, I tried to do some different things, you know, work on writing things with different time signatures and stuff, things I haven't really delved into as much on the other albums. I really tried to get into on this album. Pat always writes some pretty crazy stuff, so it all seemed pretty natural for us. Like, the writing process for Kill. Like, we weren't forcing ourselves to be drastically different from any of the other albums, you know. Every album we ever tried to do, we just wanted to be the most brutal album that the five of us could do, you know. That's the goal.
And how would you maybe lyrically kind of touch upon what Kill is providing? Still, you guys are maintaining the trademark kind of, you know, goriness and heaviness and that whole theatrical horror type of vibe. But can you just comment a little bit on that?
Sure. I can mostly talk about the songs I write, because the songs I do the music for are the ones I write the lyrics for. When Pat does the music for a song, usually he'll have Paul write the lyrics. But anyway, to comment on the ones I wrote, it really just depends on the music. You know, we'll write the music first and then try and base some lyrics on how the music kind of sounds. You know, like a song like Maniacal, that song's all fast and it's all really kind of, even though it's sort of hard to play, it's pretty straightforward as far as structure goes. So that, to me, that song sounded like somebody snapping, you know, or whatever, like really going into a rage or something. So that's what the lyrics are about, where something like Murder Worship, there's a little bit more going on, so the lyrics are more complicated too. You know, that we kind of try and see what kind of vibe the song has and base the lyrics on that. I mean, it's usually a very aggressive and heavy vibe, so the lyrics are usually going to be that way too. But if there is a song where it's a little slower and more of a doom kind of thing, then the lyrics will reflect that. Like the lyrics to Maniacal would not work on you know, like one of the slower songs we've done in the past, like When Death Replaces Life or something like that. You know, like that's really what we try and do, is treat each song as an individual and write lyrics that are going to work well with the music that we've written.
We have always been big fans of your videos, and we've spun them on the program. I haven't seen any new videos yet. Are those forthcoming, or are you going to plan some for Kill?
Yeah, actually, we got one for Make Them Suffer. That's actually been out for a couple months, and we just finished a video for Death Walking Terror. So 2 videos this time. We're very happy about that, because there was a few albums that we didn't get a video at all. You know, like, it's pretty much up to the record label. They kind of have to decide if it's worth, you know, spending the money on, you know, because some of the albums where we didn't have a video, they felt like it wasn't worth it. I mean, we always felt like it'd be worth it, but especially it really sucked for us to not have videos out when Headbangers came back and Uranium was really big. We were very frustrated with that, because we saw a lot of other bands with videos and we didn't have one. So, you know, we complained a little bit, and we got, you know, the label agreed it would be a good idea. And
now we're going to give you guys a budget.
Yeah, we got some videos on there, and they've been very helpful. You know, Metal Blade's been really kicking ass for us, and they got us to work with a really great video guy named Dan Doby, and he kicked a lot of ass. You know, this guy really, we don't even have to push him to make the videos evil. He just makes them evil without even us telling him to. You know,
I was going to save this question for a little later, but as you mentioned Metal Blade, and as we're talking about the label, you know, Metal Blade's been around for quite some time, and you know, it seems like as of late they're kind of signing a lot of this new kind of metalcore, I think, if people want to call it that. And so some would say, you know, there's this transition at the label where they're supporting these kind of bands now. You guys have been a mainstay there and have continued to, you know, maintain your relationship there, and obviously they see the value of Cannibal Corpse and you know, other particular artists. But how do you feel about you know, some of these transitions that are going on at the label and stuff like that? Obviously, you know, they're not really affecting you guys very much.
Not so much. You know, I can't really say how it would affect us, actually, other than that we were probably one of the best-selling bands on Blade until about 2003, and then some of the other bands that they have, you know, bands like As I Lay Dying, Black Dahlia Murder, and Unearth really started to take off. I think it's great, you know, that Metal Blade's having a lot of success, and I don't think that they're forgetting about the other types of music they have. Like, they're still signing death metal bands. They got a lot of death metal bands on there. They have black metal and stuff like that. So they have a wide variety of metal. It just happens that in America right now, metalcore is a massive thing, and the bands, naturally the metalcore bands they have are doing really well, because all metalcore bands on all labels are doing pretty well right now. It's a big thing in the States. You know?
And as we talked earlier about Sounds of the Underground, and you guys, you know, basically starting the support of Kill, where else will you guys be going for the rest of 06 and maybe even in 07?
Okay, well, we already did a European tour, and that was killer. That was First No Mercy Festival, and then we toured with Eon and Prostitute Disfigurement, and that was awesome. And then we're doing this tour. After this, we'll be going to Australia. We were hoping to go to Japan, but it's so hard for us to get there. We've actually only ever been there once, and that was like 10 years ago. But we're getting back to Australia, and it's been almost 12 years since we played there, so we'd like to do a lot of touring for Kill because we're happy with the record and we want to get out there and push it.
All right, Alex, thank you for everything and for all the info and your enthusiasm in this interview, man. We appreciate it. Any last words for the people out there in San Antonio?
Just, thanks very much for the support all these years. We always have great shows in San Antonio and hope to see you all on tour.
Remember, San Antonio, the latest from Cannibal Corpse is called Kill. It's out in your record stores right now under the Metal Blade label. Be sure to go out there and pick it up. You saw Alex Webster right here on Rob's MetalWorks.